Welcome to the Whaler Guys here at Hartford Public Access, world headquarters of the Whalers Guys, and you guys are the brigade. We are One Nation Under Green. We have a lot to talk about tonight. We have a great event coming up, July 8th, 7 p.m., Muzzy Field in Bristol. It's our second annual Whalers Night with the Bristol Blues Baseball Club.
Yeah, actually we're going to do a live show on July 8th from the Bristol Blues game. Hartford Whalers Night. Going to get a lot of people there, like we did last year, and what we're going to do is have some interviews. You guys can get on the show. Tell us what you think about the Hartford market. Tell us, what you're hearing maybe, or share some of your stories. So we're going to get you guys involved. We have a great guest lineup. So there's going to be a lot of people to come see. Anthony Harrington is going to kick off the national anthem, and he's sang the national anthem for so many Whaler games. It'd be great to have him there.
Mm-hmm.
Got Pucky coming. Thanks to the Baldwins for letting us borrow Pucky. He's showing up. He was there last year, so kids get your camera shots with Pucky. And we got the Zambonis, our headliner.
We made a big deal with the hockey band referred to as the Zambonis. They play all hockey-titled songs. Dave Schneider, we thank you and your band, the Zambonis, for making an effort to come up from Fairfield in your Whalers gear. And Rick Montine, the general manager of the Bristol Blues, we thank you and your ownership group for putting up quite a bit of money to fund this event. We realize that money's tight these days,
Sure.
and it's great that everyone stepped forward to make this a really fun night. And I think you're going to have a good time. The Zambonis are going to play a pregame concert right behind home plate, and then a postgame concert immediately following the game. And in between, there might be some music at the inning change. And when the Bristol Blues score a good run, we're going to have the Zambonis hopefully play the Brass Bonanza, or the PA system will play the Brass Bonanza every time they score a run. Right. The other night, Peter and I went down for a meeting with Rick and the Bristol Blues, and they really had the bats hot. They ended up, when we were leaving, it was 8-3. Bristol was winning the game.
Yeah.
And it was really good. So hopefully we'll have another game where they can score a lot of runs, and you can hear our song played quite a bit.
Yeah, well, last game there was 5 Brass Bonanzas, so you heard that. We'll see if there's some more this time. And like I said, the gates open at 5:30. We talked to them about they'll have the concessions going and all that, and then we're going to have some people come and sit down with us during the show, and we're going to do a live show from there. That's really what you got to come out and be a part of. So let us know what your thoughts on everything. And it'd be great to get another Whaler night, because last year when we did this, we tripled the nightly attendance they would get for Thursday night. And the NHL took some notice. We heard from a source downtown that the NHL did hear about the season ticket drive and the license plate drive, and it's been about a year, and we're talking to the state rep who's we're trying to work that license plate in. It's a very difficult session with all the budget issues and all that. So hopefully we'll have a good update coming July 8th on what's going on with the license plate, and can we get that done, because that would be fantastic.
Well, it seems like every time we try to do something to further push all of our causes to bring the NHL back to Hartford, the state is in turmoil with the budget, but then you throw DMV into the mix, and DMV is a disaster. Yeah. So, we've unfortunately picked two partners that are having a tough year. So, it just makes it all the more nice when this does happen, or if it does happen, that the NHL comes to Hartford, because we're really working hard to get this done.
Yeah, we don't really have any new news or new rumors or new thoughts, but the bottom line is, even with all the mess with the yard goats, Hartford canceled Riverfest. It really upset some of the downtown dwellers. With all those terrible things going in Hartford, where they're trying to cut police and fire, and all these other budget cuts, they have a $50 million gap in Hartford trying to cut that. Regardless, we know that the transformation process for the XL Center is still continuing, although it's been slowed down because of all these issues. But next summer, put a new ice sheet in there, and then we'll move on to the next phase. As we always say, it's a process. So
baby steps.
Yeah, that's why we're doing these Whaler events, to keep the name there. The more we keep that, the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing. If nobody did anything, we don't know where they would go. Would they just disappear into memory forever? So that's why we're keeping it alive. It's important, if you're a Whaler fan, come out, be with other Whaler fans. Show this attendance. How much media did we contact about this week?
Yeah.
I asked Jeff Jacobs, who probably won't come, but I asked him to come. Paul Doyle from the Hartford Current. You contacted
the New Britain Herald.
Right.
We talked to We had someone contact Chaz and AJ from 102.9 The Whale.
Yeah.
Another guest that we're waiting to confirm is Bob Joyce, better known these days as the voice of the UConn women's basketball team.
That's right.
We have an invite out to him because back when the Whalers were here, he was the producer of the Whalers Radio Network that led up to Chuck Caton calling the games on WTIC 1080. So we're hoping that Bob Joyce can join us. We also put an invitation out to Peter Good, but he does have a very busy summertime schedule, so he's trying to rearrange his schedule to be there. Like we said, Anthony Harrington was ready, jumping on board, and you know it's really nice when people do that. But,
huge help.
Really, the most important people that we're looking to see is you guys.
Yeah.
We want to put names with faces. You know, we read social media all day, every day, and yes, it's the Whalers. It's the Whalers Brigade Board. It's social media when it comes to Twitter and Instagram. But you guys are the important people. You guys are the ones posing questions to us. What would you like to see? And you know, Matthew Barry put out a poll of what you guys enjoyed seeing the most, and the #1 topic was the Whaler of the Day. And consistently every day we get notified of how many hits or how many views or how many, you know, what it's performing at. And that Whaler of the Day consistently, usually a couple hours after it's been put on, reaches that 75% plateau right away, and of course Facebook says, "Oh, you want to boost this?" No, we don't boost it. We're already boosting it. They should be paying us.
Right.
But you know, so you guys wanted more Whaler of the Days, and they're continually happening. And Matthew Berry and Gabe Rosa, we thank you for everything you do with the social media because it takes a lot of strain off of what we have to do. And you guys are the ones enjoying it. You know, there was a great post that Mark Walland, who oversees Whaler Nation on Facebook, put an 11-6 victory the other day. The Whalers beating the Montreal Canadiens, and it was just awesome. I despise that club. And it was great because Penny was in goal first. He got shellacked. Patrick Waugh came in, and it was kind of funny because Bill Patrick, who was the WFSB sports commentator that night, called him Patrick Roy, and you know, we know him as Patrick Waugh. And you know, it was great because he got shellacked also, and the Whalers scored 11 goals and ended up winning 11-6 that night. And it was great to see them lose. So.
You know, there's a couple of Whaler games when they got up to 11 goals, and you know, remember 10-2 blowout in March of '87 with the Bruins, and 11-0 in '84 against the Edmonton Oilers, and you know. Speaking of the Whalers in terms of the logo, you know, Peter Good created that logo. So it'd be cool if you're there that night and if he does show up, you could get a Whaler logo and have him autographed. I mean, it's the guy that created the logo. I mean, I don't even know if we'd be doing this show if he didn't create that logo because it's so popular. It's still one of the top sellers. Still one of the top sellers. You see it when you go to the vintage NHL store. The Whaler stuff is there. You know, we had the Thanksgiving Day Parade where Mark Howe was wearing his Flyers and Marty was wearing the Whalers. That was cool. So you see it out there, and that's why we do these things, because it's an impact. It does get noticed. You know, we talked about when we went in the Excel Center about a month ago that we helped create a news cycle. You know, people were talking about the Excel Center because we went in there and gave you a bird's eye view of it. So that's where it's important where you guys come in, because if you're behind us, then you know, it's like a hammer where we have you guys are the shaft. You're helping us drive home the point that we need to get these Whalers back into Hartford.
What was really fun, going back to the Whaler of the Day, posted on our page, I put it out there, was the Hockey News can you guess the player of the day, and it happened to be a Whalers jersey. And it happened to be Pat Verbeek. And, you know, I think it's great that the Hockey News is either picking up on, you know, what other Whaler fans are doing or whatever, but they put that Whaler right there. And, you know, that's great. That's a national publication. So, you know, we're getting the exposure, and, you know, that's what's important. And we talked about it on our podcast before we came in here. You know, we have to keep on shoving it out there because it's almost like we have to push through the wall of Connecticut to get it out over the border, out into the real world and say, okay, no, we're still here and we still want the hockey club back. So
And you mentioned Pat Verbeek. I think it was a straight up trade, Sylvain Turgeon for Pat Verbeek. And boy, what a steal! That was one of the great Whaler deals of all time, because Pat Verbeek with that little ball of hate. You know, he was a great Whaler captain.
And Sylvain Turgeon was a very good player during the season. Once the playoffs came,
it was game over. That kind of was.
It's like Alex Rodriguez.
It happens. Definitely, he's good at that. Yeah, he's very good at that, and even with the drugs. But hey, you know, we're really looking forward to that. That's next Friday, July 8th. This show may air July 7th. So if you're watching this next Thursday night on Hartford Public Access, make sure you know the next night is you got to be out there, Bristol, Connecticut, Muzzy Field.
And we encourage you to get there early, because, like Peter said, the gates will open at 5:30, and the food and the beverages will start to flow.
Yeah.
But there's going to be traffic. 72 is not the best road to take in, but you have to get there early. So if you're traveling from some distance, set aside some time to get there, because you will be right in the middle of the rush hour traffic.
Right.
And if you want to get there for the pregame concert with the Zambonis, you want to get there, 5, get there around 5, so you have your ticket and you're ready to go.
Right. The tickets are very reasonable. I think it's $5 for general admission. Children under 3, I think, are free. And there's also a discount for children, I think, up to the ages of 12 or so. But you can check their website on that. So it's a very inexpensive night. We talked to Rick Muntean, the general manager of the Blues, and we said, boy, people really love that beer and a brat for $5.
That's right.
That was a good deal. It was really hot. And he said, I forgot about that. We were going to put that back in there. So, the food was good. We had a good time last year. BB is the name of the mascot of the Blues. You see him and Pucky, so kids can get pictures with Pucky and the mascot for the Blues. And we're excited, and we're really looking forward to the aftermath of what we can get out of the media, and also get you guys on some camera time so you can tell us about.
We want you on the show, but we will tell you that we're going to have people with cameras going around taking pictures. So if you don't want your picture on social media, just tell us ahead of time, so we don't offend anybody. And so we want a lot of pictures of you guys. We're on the TV, we do the social media thing, but you guys are the important people. You guys are the ones that are beating the pavement out there, beating the drum. We're the voice doing this show and the podcast, but you guys are the ones continually educating people. Like I said on the podcast earlier, some guy was like, well, the Whalers, why should they come back? Because they weren't supported. And so I had to fire up and tell the guy, listen, no, they were supported. They were in the top third of attendance when they left. And obviously, with Carolina's rules these days, we obviously had better attendance than they currently have.
Yeah.
So, you guys have to continually have the information that we can give you that is the truth, because we do have people that like to throw it in our face that we don't tell them flat out what's going on, and we hurt their feelings and they go hide and be childish. We will tell you when we confirm the truth. We are not going to tell you some BS that's out there, because that's not how we operate. The other thing is, you guys have to educate the people that are naysayers. And you know what we say to naysayers? If you don't want to get on our bandwagon and bring back our NHL team, you can shut your blowhole. Because you know what? We don't need negativity.
Right.
We need positivity. We need a positive image of Whaler fans pushing the cause to keep the NHL looking at Hartford.
Yeah, and we run into so much help from so many different people. I mean, everybody we run into, if they're a little bit older, they say, I'm a season ticket holder. And even people that never saw the Whalers play have been great about showing some support for the Whalers, and people realize that one time Hartford had a major league team, and was on the front page of the sports page. The Whalers were there, so that can happen again. It's going to take some time. Now next year, we got UConn and the Wolfpack again, and there's 55 hockey games. So we'll get through the season.
And they're going to Fenway.
Yeah, they're going to Fenway on January 14th. They're going to play Maine, UConn versus Maine. We're going to see if we can get to that game.
Yes.
That would be fun to get that, because UConn is clearly there because they draw. I mean, there's no question. They were first in the Hockey East last year, third this year, 10th in the nation last year, 12th in the nation, and both times the teams were 10 games under 500. So there goes your, Hartford doesn't support a losing team. They do. And as you said, in the 80s, the Whalers outdrew Boston 4 out of the 10 years in the 80s. And in 87, they were, in the top third. So, the whole thing about Hartford not being a large enough market is just hogwash. So that's why we do this now.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I was listening to WTIC 1080 the other day, Jody and Gresh in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
And they were commenting about the Whale Bowl.
Oh.
And they had probably a 2 or 3 minute bit of, you remember how cold it was? Oh my God, it was freezing. And Mark the Shark, who does the traffic, He came into the conversation. He's like, I have never been so cold in my life. And you know what was really sad about it was the next day was 40 degrees.
I know.
And we missed it by one day. It's like this is
it
just comes so close.
And it snowed every week. I mean, it snowed like almost every weekend, which made it difficult because they had to shovel out that stadium.
Yep.
But you know, that's what happens to Hartford is these strange things seem to try to mess up a good thing.
Right. My point was when these guys are bringing up, you know, what the Whale Bowl meant and what it did for Hartford, and yes, it was the past, and yes, the Whalers were the past for us, but they just kind of let it go. Well, why aren't they rekindling what we need to get accomplished here?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like, yeah, okay, that was the time before. You know what? Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
We're not ready to move on, all right? We are not ready to move
on.
No. There might be some professionals out there that might think we need counseling, but you know what? We are sticking to this, and you guys have to stick with us because we are making waves enough where people are paying attention.
It actually starting to look like it's easier to get the NHL back than it is to get AA baseball in Hartford. I mean, it's getting that bad. But again, you know, as we always tell everyone, that Yard Goats thing was a city thing, where the XL Center is a state thing. We told you a couple weeks ago about the Church Street garage that the CRDA purchased from the state. That's actually making the CRDA money by people parking in the Church Street garage. It goes towards the XL. You know, it may be pennies in a bucket, but they add up, and that helps you know, our cause. So you know, that Church Street garage turned out to be a very good purchase for the CRDA. So these things are good, but they're under the radar a little bit because of the yard goat problems, because of the city issues and things going on.
And don't get me wrong. I'm sure the NHL is paying attention to the difficulties Hartford is having.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure it will play a part, but hopefully
it's not helpful.
No. Hopefully, you know, after this year we get into more of a stabilized economy and more revenue. And that's the other thing that was brought up and it irritated me was they said we need more revenue. Bring in a National Hockey League team. That'll bring people to the city. As we talked about on the podcast, we have 15 UConn games. Right? UConn hockey games. Then you couple that with 40 NHL games. And that's NHL games where people will travel from Boston, New York, New Jersey to come see their team play up in Hartford. And people are like, well, all these people take over our seats. I don't care who you are. If you're a hockey fan and you're buying a ticket, you're supporting the Hartford Whalers or the Hartford team that happens to be here. So, you know, I want everyone to come to hockey games. Just like I want people to go to hockey games in Hartford. We're hockey fans. Let's make it a hockey state. It's already a hockey state. And that's what people don't understand. You have Quinnipiac, Yale, you have UConn. My God, hello, we're in the epicenter. You know, Boston College, Boston University, they have all that up there. We have, in a small state, all these hockey clubs.
Quinnipiac went to the finals this past year.
And Quinnipiac only can hold 4,300 in their arena. We can hold 15,000, you know, but we're never going to get to 15,000, but we had 8,000 for that opening night. So, you know, people do come out. And it is a territorial fan base.
And this UConn season, the dates are much better. Last year they had 6 Tuesdays. I believe all but like 2 games are on either a Friday or Saturday. So I predict you're going to see UConn attendance go up a little bit. You get those weekend games, you get more people on coming into the city on those dates, and you also have some big games like BU on a Friday night and you know, BC. So those are the ones that really draw well. And when those games happen, they're in the top 10 attendance for the league for Hockey East for you know, like getting a 7 or 8. That doesn't really happen that much in Boston. It happens more in Hartford, believe it or not. So it goes to show you that even though it's crazy, it was Malloy, the governor Malloy said like 3 years ago, you know, UConn's going to be where we're going to show that there's a hockey market here, and you thought, nah, what the heck is he talking about?
The pathway to the NHL through UConn. And we were like, what are you talking about?
At the time I was like,
And would they end up 3rd in Hockey East last year?
3rd in this past season, and they were 1st the year before.
And then 12th overall.
Think about that
in Division 1.
And
nationwide.
Nationwide. And don't forget, 6 Tuesday nights. So you know, it's Tuesday night's a tough draw for hockey in any city, really.
And we have to congratulate some of our UConn players. Tage Thompson was drafted in the 1st round by the St. Louis Blues.
Right.
And
Oh, Joseph Messina.
Yes.
To Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yes. So,
And I remember those names very well, of course, because when we watched those UConn games, those guys were big-time players, you know. For,
yeah, you'll get a charge. I think it's McAvoy,
Yeah.
who is Boston College or Boston University.
Yeah.
Got selected by the Bruins.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
They put a tweet out back in 2013. I
Yeah.
hate the Bruins.
Yeah, he says, I hate the Bruins so much. And he got
and he got drafted.
he's
by
my
the
favorite player. He's my favorite Bruin. Yeah, so you know that's great to see because Tage Thompson had, you know, he's just very impactful season last year. One game we sat behind his father, who's the coach of the Bridgeport Sound Tigers,
Yep.
and you know, I can remember he's really a big kid,
Yeah.
kind of like his father,
Yep.
you know, tall,
Yep.
and boy, he gets those points in there though. I mean, he really is
Yeah,
one of the
13
yeah.
power play goals that
Yeah.
led the nation.
Right.
And you know, he was being interviewed on a radio show, and I heard it, and they said, well, so you're going to bust your dad's butt a little bit because he was taken in the second round and you were taken in the first? He goes, no, I won't do that. But Dad was
Yeah.
helpful in discussing his
I bet.
options for
Sure.
the draft.
How exciting is that? I mean, you know, to get drafted. I mean, UConn is starting to show that they can be an NHL, you know, prospect house.
Yes.
So that's really cool. And you wonder, this will be Rob Nichols' final year.
Yes, it will.
And he's been just outstanding.
And
So
they're bringing in a new goalie this year.
right. It's a Ranger prospect.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you know,
From
he could.
Sweden?
Yeah. He's another
Swedish.
Swedish goaltender. The Rangers seem to go with the
So
Swedish
if you
goaltenders.
have a new guy coming in who's really good, and
Yeah.
you have Rob Nichols, this could be a very promising year.
Right.
Along with the new team that they're building, you know, obviously your seniors leave, and now you have your new guys coming in.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, Larionov is staying.
Laturnov.
is
Yeah.
staying. Along with Massonis and Tage Thompson, so it should be a very exciting year.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the Fenway.
That would be a big thing to get. Yeah, especially. I mean, imagine if UConn scores and they do play Brass Bonanza in Fenway, that would be great.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I
mean,
We have to tell you though, with the Zambonis doing the show at the Bristol Blues, they are going to unveil it's going to be a first time ever played, a Gordie Howe tribute song.
Which is cool.
Which is going to be really awesome. So, you know, that's another reason to come out to the Bristol Blues, is to have an opportunity to hear a tribute song put together by Dave Schneider and the Zambonis. They were putting a rush on the recording so they could get everything out. And again, you'll be able to buy their CDs at the game. So I encourage you to go visit with Dave and the Zambonis when they have a few minutes, because it's a really fun bunch of guys. And it's you know, when we went down to Fairfield, there was a riot. You know, these guys are a bunch of kids, really. You know, they're in their 40s, but you felt like you're in, you know, someone's playroom.
Oh yeah.
And they had Whaler stuff.
Oh, decorated to the nines.
The
Yeah.
Minnesota North Stars.
Yeah.
They had the construction helmet.
The Winnipeg
with,
Jets.
raised the roof.
Yeah.
Yep, when the roof collapsed.
Yeah.
You know, we're winding down towards the end of the show.
Right.
Again, if you have any questions for Peter and myself, my email is jewhaler13@gmail.com, and Peter's is phindle19@gmail.com. We always look forward to some emails from you guys. If we can improve the show, improve the podcast, what do you want to see? What do you think we should focus on? Besides, you know, obviously trying to keep our ear to the walls to see what's going on.
Right.
But you know, let us know what's going on, and we're going to catch you next time on the Whaler Guys, live from Hartford Public Access World Headquarters of the Whaler Guys. You guys are the brigade, and we're one nation under green. You guys have a great night.